everybody knows, we especially have this holiday to welcome Jimmy. Jimmy just came back from the Republican National Convention. I think he's very honored for so I just want to take this opportunity to welcome Jimmy. And also, Jimmy invited a lot of Republican friends and guests here. I think I would let Jimmy to introduce those guests. So I would pass, I just let Jimmy first. Let's welcome Jimmy and welcome him back.
Thank you everybody. I'm really appreciate and it is my honor to be the delegate for the 2012 National Republican Convention. Actually, this is an honor for our Asian American community, and I just take advantage of being Asian American. So I do really appreciate everybody to give me the chance to go there. I've been involved in the Republican Party over almost 15 years, from the National Republican Congressional Committee. I was the honorable chairman of the Business Advisory Council for 6 years. And then I was the member of grassroots senatorial inner circle of about 4 or 5 years. And then I joined the Fulton County Republican Party from the first chair is Jack Winter, and then Mike Dotsky, and then Sean Hanley, and then now the chair is Roger Fung. He's supposed to come, but maybe late. We'll be here later. So I just tried to involve in the Republican Party. Just we have the same. I have the card here. I think everybody have it. The Republican Party have the principle of the Republican Party is the same conservative tradition of our Asian American community. This is the reason why everybody asks why you want to join the Republican Party, why you want to do that. This is the reason. We Asian American is Republican. So I hope everybody can try their best to support our Republican Party. And thank you, give me a chance to speak here. And we have a special guest today. Our only one Asian American community state representative, BJ Pak. And I invite the veteran chairman of the Georgia Republican Party Executive Committee, Colonel Larry Rosinski. And our 6th district chair, Michael Fitzgerald. And the Cobb County chairman, Joe Dandy. Sorry, maybe I will be rude to our guests if sometimes I speak in Chinese. OK， 欢迎大家给我的这个机会来介绍我们这个主流的这个共和党的主席，还有我们的那个唯一的剩下的一个乔治亚州的亚裔的那个州代表。所以我现在呢，请那个我们的那个周代表跟大家讲一些话。Please invite the speaker.
Thank you very much for having me. We don't need it. Well, thank you so much for having me, and also thank you to Jimmy and the Asian American Republican Caucus. As Jimmy said, unfortunately, we lost one of our friends.
We used to have 2 Asian American state reps in Georgia. Fortunately, she lost in a very close primary race, so it looks like I'm going to be the only one. I want to share one story with you. I was at the convention along with Jimmy and I think a couple of you guys down here. I had a chance to speak at the Asian American Republican reception for Romney. It was over a little further away, actually, at a place called Miracle Lake. One interesting thing is, you know, a lot of people, when you look at Georgia, we don't think that there are many Asian American Republicans. They're there, trust me. I think there's a swelling of conservatives like yourselves. They're just not as vocal, just like Clint Eastwood said. They don't go hot digging it all out. That may be true. One thing that got me was when I went to speak at the reception, there are Asian American conservatives all over the country. And one thing that we haven't focused on is we're not really connecting very well, geographically, congressional district-wise, or state-wise. And I think part of the reason that the Republican Party don't focus so much on a particular group is because we all believe that we're Americans first. We don't like to put hyphenated words and emphasize the Asianness or African Americanness or Hispanics before being American. And those of us who are on the right side view that that's a very important thing, because all of us love this country because of the opportunities that it provides. Just give us the opportunity, we'll work hard and be successful. That is the American dream, right? The other side believes in, unfortunately, getting a piece of the pie, thinking that if somebody succeeds, I deserve a portion of that. And that's actually the fundamental divide, I think, between the parties. And as Republicans, we've lost the fight at the ground level of recruiting Asian Americans to the party. And I say that, you look at the numbers that President Obama got in 2008 of the Asian American vote. Not only do we have to battle the, what I would consider, liberal or left-leaning educational system in the colleges to recruit Asian Americans, we also have to battle the younger generations, MTV generation, who I believe are responsible for eroding some of the conservative values that America's founded upon. I'm not blaming MTV. I think most people realize that when they grow up and have family and start actually getting a job and paying taxes, and they still realize they're in fact conservative. But what I would like to thank people like Jimmy and those of you here is that we have to start somewhere. We have to do a reach out. Thank you for coming. That this is not going to be just because we are Asian American and we see on TV somehow we're going to grow the base of our party. We have to do the grassroots, and unfortunately we have a late start compared to the opposing side. And thank you so much for letting me be here. And to the extent that I could help you, if you have a function where younger kids, college, high school kids, want to learn about getting into politics, please invite me. I make it a point to go speak to younger generations, because I know that that's where we recruit conservatives, good Americans, and those who believe in the American spirit and are working hard and succeeding. Thank you so much.
Now we are welcome to 60th Street Sheldon.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. My name is Michael Fitzgerald. I'm the chairman of the 6th Congressional District of Georgia. My congressman, his name is Tom Price. Does anybody here know Tom Price?
Yeah.
Very good conservative, very good Republican, represents Georgia very well in the legislature. Tom Price is the 5th ranking Republican in the Congress of the United States. Very powerful position, and he speaks for us well. And I think we have much in common with the Asian community. And BJ's done a great job of introducing that. It is our belief that government should be smaller, that we do not want intrusiveness into our personal lives as well as into our businesses. I think that is a specific difference between us and the opposing parties, that we want smaller government. More entrepreneurial spirit comes from that, more enterprise. We believe in a free enterprise system where people are free to do their trades and do their business. We're looking for a strong, we believe in a strong military, not as a show of force, but as a show of defensiveness, so that we don't, so that other people do not, other countries do not feel that they can take advantage of us. Strong defense. We also believe in, as well as free enterprise, open trade amongst all countries. Our party, I think, is the pinnacle of demonstrating that we are interested in a free enterprise on a global basis. So we have lots in common with you, and we would like to advance our communications with you. We would like to extend a hand and have you come visit us and educate yourselves on our party and our positions. And I think that you'll find that we have much to do together to improve America, improve our relationships, and move the country forward in a positive way, including changing the economy. So thank you for your time. Nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to meeting every one of you. And thank you, Jimmy, for inviting me.
The COP County Chair, Joe Dandy, give us
Thank you all for inviting me, Jimmy. Thank you so much. And I am Joe Dandy, the chairman of the Cobb County Republican Party. Cobb County has the largest Republican voting bloc of any county of the 159 counties in Georgia. We're the 5th largest in the nation. So it's a county that sort of leads, and what we do there is extremely important. That's why we're trying to reach out to everybody in Cobb County, all the Republican voters. Just sitting with some good folks over here from Cobb County. You see that I migrate toward Cobb Countyans because I want them involved. But I have been chairman of the Cobb County Republican Party for since March of last year. And I was a delegate. I was one of the elected delegates, like Jimmy was, to the National Convention. We had a great time down there. I spent a year in Asia myself. In 1971-72, I was a combat veteran from Vietnam. But, and then also, how many of you are from Taiwan? Okay, I spent a week in your country, in Taiwan, during that period of time. And it was very, very interesting. Beautiful country. But also, who's here from Hong Kong area? Okay, I spent 3 days in Hong Kong on the way to Taiwan. And on the way back, I stayed. I really liked Hong Kong a lot. But, you know, I was looking at some history and about Asian Americans and where we were about 30 or 40 years ago. And from what I was reading and studying, there was a very strong conservative movement among the Asian Americans. And what I mean by that is the fact that most Asian Americans then actually were conservative and voted conservative. And it's only been in recent decades, really, and I think that you hit on it, MTV, the academia, the colleges, the universities, they're teaching our young people some of the wrong principles. And because of that, they're growing up thinking that liberal Democrat is the way to go. Unfortunately, what happens, I think, is the fact that when you're young, then you're very idealistic, right? And you think that you can change the world, and you think that by being the giver of everybody, taking from the rich and giving to the poor, that's going to change the world. Well, it never has changed the world, even back in biblical days. It didn't change the world then. It's not going to change the world now. We live in a world where success should be rewarded. It's not bad to be successful in business. How many independent businessmen do we have here, men and women in this room right now? You own your own business, okay? You know, to be a businessman, you work long, hard hours. And that's what I've done since 1973 when I got out of service, out of the Army. But I've only been really actively involved in politics since my children grew up, but since then I have been, and I encourage everyone here to get involved. Romney, our candidate for president, is a strong businessman, very successful, but even a stronger family man. I know that that's something that's on all of our hearts, is strong families. And you look at what the two options that we have right now, the Romney-Ryan ticket and the Obama-Biden ticket, you see two distinct differences. You have a clear choice this time as to what we want. How many of you are better off today than you were 4 years ago? Please raise your hand if you're better off today than you were 4 years ago. I don't see any hands. So that tells me that President Obama has had his chance, and he has failed at it. Like one of the speakers, I think it was Paul Ryan, at the convention, Vice Presidential candidate Paul Ryan said, Obama's not a bad man. From all we know, he's a good businessman, I mean, never was in business, he's a good family man, and he's a nice person. But he's failed as president. He has not done the job of president. We need a new voice in there for us that will stand up for us and stand up for the individuals and the families. And that's exactly what we have. So I encourage each of you to go home today, call your friends, get in touch with them, get involved in your local party if you can. If you know what your local party is, if you don't, come up to me or to Michael or to Larry and ask us who your local chairman is. We'll give you the contact information for that person. And just get involved and see what y'all can do, because it's going to take all of us to get this job done. The race is extremely close. And your vote, or your neighbor's vote, or your relative's vote that you're going to call, hopefully when you go home today, could make the difference in this election. So each of you are extremely important in this election. Thank you again for having us. And Jimmy, thank you.
Now we are invited Carlo, Larry, Mozinski, chairman of the veteran of the Georgia Republican Party. He'll give us some special speaking about his book. I lost your view.
That's okay. You're good. You're good.
Let him
Jimmy lost him.
introduce himself. Sorry.
That's good. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much. You're good. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure again, Jimmy. Thank you very much. It was honored to also be at the convention with Jimmy, serving as a delegate, and met a lot of the good friends. And I've come to know Jimmy, and I can tell you with sincerity is to call him a friend. And as Jimmy outlined, the Georgia Republican Party and the Veterans Outreach Chair, and Sue Everhart, who I have a personal and professional affection for as a leader, and how she believes that we as Georgians, and of course as Americans, is how we treat others and how we send the message out there of inclusiveness. And I think Jimmy here with the Asian community sends that message that we're all Americans. And I think our first speaker nailed it. And he said why the Republican Party doesn't do things, and we always say we're frustrated. And we had a famous actor, John Wayne, who said that. We're not hyping it. But the difference is this. We keep our traditions and our values. And you're in here as Asians. I'm the third generation from Poland, as my brother is. We are Americans. But the fact that the United States of America is here, we're a multi-ethnic society. We were global before they even came up with the word. This nation was and is a multi-ethnic society of different peoples who came together with an ideal. But I never forget where my relatives came from. But this is where my home is. And that is what the Republican Party does, and that's why I try to reach out to veterans. I spent nearly 30 years on active duty, working various assignments around the world, in combat environments and so forth that were out there. I enjoyed very much. One of the assignments that I had as senior military advisor in the U.S. State Department under Condoleezza Rice. And what What I had there is foreign policy exposure and working with different nations as well as Asians that were there, varying nations, is the fact that the United States is a stability in the world. And for the business people that are here, and you look at it and say, well, I serve in the military. How am I part of national security, Colonel? Well, I'm going to tell you if you don't already know. I think you already know. You just haven't been reinforced that you are part of national security. Because we have 4 letters make up an acronym. It's called the DIME. D-I-M-E. Diplomatic, information, military. Any guesses on the last one? Economic. When you are a business person, you are one of the stronger pillars in that society called America, that you contribute to the strength of America because you're a business person. And our economic strength and industrial base, no matter what, underpins that economic strength. So I want you to look at yourself differently. You are one of the 4 letters that I just gave you of the pillars of national defense and national security. What does that all mean? You're in here today, we come from varied backgrounds. I would say, okay, Polish, European, whatever. This is where we are in the world as people. But we're here because we trust one another, that we're going to observe each other's rights. As the Veteran Outreach Chair, I reach out just to veterans, of course, but I have the party principles to make sure the veterans know that they are caught. We have nearly 800,000 veterans in the United States, okay? Including Asian Americans in Georgia. And with that, one of the things I've been writing about, talked about at the convention in a speech, is that our veterans under that, and you can help as activists in your community, as Jimmy does very well. I don't think there's anybody, and I'm not patronizing Jimmy, I don't think anybody has got the word out there, also as well as our first speaker, about where your part is. So if you close your eyes and you just cover over, you don't see the faces out there, so you can't make judgments about who's in the audience. You hear a voice, and you hear an accent, or dialect, north part of the United States, maybe even the south part of the United States. But what if you can't hear? You're limited to your senses. But we all know that if you're blind and you can't hear, you have a reasonable expectation somebody's looking out for you, to trust. And with Asians, we have a very important tradition. You have family. You are very well into making sure that your extended family is taken care of. That is a value that the Asians have. That is a value the Republican Party tries to have. And as I told one young lady here, and I also told Peter Hay, whose daughter Margaret went to Girls State because she's involved, is that your involvement as Americans is only as good in the strength of our society as your involvement in what you say and what you do. People will either take advantage or listen to you based on your strong points or what you do in life and how you pursue that. Republican Party was the first party. We shouldn't be about race, okay? Some say it's the world we live in, some say it's a product of who we are in the world. But the Republican Party does not do very well because we don't want to. We don't look back. We don't look back. We actually look ahead. The Republican Party was the first party in 1863 to have black delegates from Michigan on the floor. It took 63 years for the Democrats to do that. The Republican Party was the first to have a Republican woman. Where are the women? Where are the women? Now, we just had an Asian American, Charlize Byrd, who served honorably with a 94% rating, who was in the democratic process, was defeated in another candidate. Charlize Byrd was representing her heritage, but she was an American. And she did very, very well and honorably with integrity. Where are the women? Maybe they're in this room. But you understand that we need intellect, not just gender. So consider that for a moment. As far as America goes and with the Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you something that, again, pointing to our first speaker that touched on. Let me tell you. Oh, Mr. State Representative in here?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the state representative.
Yeah.
I missed that introduction, I apologize.
That was the first speaker.
Yeah, right, right, but I got the, so my apologies. As, again, that's why he's your representative. Mentioning this in here, the Democrat Party. They have been, in the last 60 plus years, have been in charge of both House and US Senate. The Republicans have been in charge of both House and US Senate for 14 years out of the last 60. You get in the picture? They come back, they can't pass a budget in 2009. For 3 years, they won't do it because they want what they want. The Constitution of America says you have the authority to pass that budget. But 14 years, we've had spotty history over 60 of being in control of both governments, meaning the policies of the Republicans. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to get out and vote. You need to tell your friends, because what they say out there is, oh, the Republicans failed. We failed, the Republicans? 46 years you've had your chance out of 60. We failed with our 14. We had a balanced budget in 1994. Okay, 95, 96. We had balanced budgets. What happened? We weren't in control of both houses under Republican presidents. Other than what? When was the last time? Does anybody know?
2007.
2007. Okay, and what we had, very short time in history. And it forced in 1994 President Bill Clinton to balance a budget, but he claims he did it. So it's very important, either as a veteran or someone that you know is a veteran, to get out and vote. Now, in that subject, you're going to hear from a military guy. Now, I've published on articles internationally when I was on active duty, and I'm very concerned about national security and defense, but other issues too. Health, love to talk to you about. Love to talk to you about economics and transportation and energy. But the focus right now, my postulate in the party, is also to make sure that the veterans is taken care of. Ladies and gentlemen, this administration has failed you. By December, it's estimated 1.2 million people backlogged in claims who came back from Iraq. They have to wait 6 up to 1 year to get their benefits. You need to be telling your elected representatives what's up with that. Why we don't have an executive order from this president to go ahead and get more people on to file the claims where our veterans are coming back? Why is that? Why can you walk into an emergency room as an uninsured or anyone, even undocumented, anybody walk in, and get emergency care in a hospital in America? What a great nation. But yet our veterans come back and have to wait 6 to out to 1 year or more to get to care. I don't know about you, but I don't care if I was a veteran or not. That is a broken faith with our people. And this president has 3.5 years, and what does he tell Shinseki, the department head of the Department of Veterans Affairs? He says, fix the backlog. It's failed leadership, ladies and gentlemen. We have the greatest government in the world, and it's all about people who are in charge. We have people with self-affirmation. All they want is power. All they want is, it's all about me, but not about you. And then we got to go through this malaise and say, okay, where show me. And then we're told the platitudes. 2008, we were sold People magazine rhetoric. A pretty face, maybe. And then what did we get? Right now, your businesses could be a lot more robust and you could hire more Americans. Asian Americans, doesn't matter. More Americans could be hired for what you're doing. The United States also says this, and I'll say to the folks that are in here in the room. Our foreign policy and the way we look out to the rest of the world right now, and in your heritage, my heritage, Poland was a freed nation. We could all agree that we've had these statements. We look back out and we say, is the land where I call home, will it be there? What will be the impact of anyone here in America? And I can tell you that the United States, no matter what your ethnicity, we will remain strong. And ladies and gentlemen, when we were here as America, and you wonder why American military, we say, is strong, and maybe you'll have pride in it, let's think back. I just gave you about the Republican Party. Why is the American military as strong as it is in the world? Because there's people that are not here today who are alive, who were buried in places around the world. Because the United States of America's military failed to be prepared. Should we have been? No, we were at peace. World War I, we were not ready at World War I. We have bodies buried in France because of World War I. We weren't ready. Mothers and fathers, especially fathers, didn't come home. And then we downsized. World War II, we sent what? Flying Tigers over to China to help. Covertly, to help. To help with, covertly, with the nation, because we weren't really at war. You know, but we wanted to help the Chinese. We did that, okay? Some got lost, some never came back. We don't even know their names. I don't even know all their names. Didn't come back, because it was a covert operation. World War II, 154,000 on active duty. We weren't prepared for World War II. What did we do? We threw them into a meat grinder as fast as we could, and we sent them on over. My father became a prisoner of World War II with the Germans, Starlight 7A. He was in Italy, and he served in just 50 miles northeast of Lewisburg as a prisoner of war. Then we downsized again, because the Europeans had their fights, their wars. Of course, we had combat with Japan. How many Americans were killed? How many Asians were killed as a veteran because we were not prepared to help those nations that were in the rim because they were defenseless? A lot. A lot were killed. How many Chinese were killed? How many of your relatives are not with you, but only in memory? Because we were not prepared early enough. Then came Korea. We downsized after World War II. Look at Korea. You could be a business person today in Korea, and when you see a satellite, you see the lights of south, and you see it dark in the north. You see a people who are well-fed and have smiles on their face because they're living out their God-given gifts of talents to do what they want in life. We had a lot of Americans buried and killed in Korea because we put in our National Guard. And the United States says, that's it. We had to be prepared because we're losing Americans. We built up the strongest military in the world because we need to be ready. And you know what? When we did that, we can argue with some mistakes in foreign policy. Every nation does. But we have always intention to free somebody. That's why you need to be involved to make sure your leaders do the right thing. So when we say, oh, they didn't do the right thing, they misled us, or that person's a great leader, it's because you were involved, or some of us were not involved. And that's why you are important as part of the done, as part of the economic of the done. The Asian community is a strong community in America, as well as other communities, but you have the tradition of taking care of your families. We need that ethic into our society. We need Asian traditions in America to say, don't forget your family. That's what Asia brings to America. Whether it was any other country in the world brought something, we all came here as the melting pot. And that's what I leave you with the message as far as veterans. Your elected officials, give them the strength and tell them when you think they're straying somewhere, give them the guidance, because they're only as good as what you give them. And they're statesmen, not politicians. A statesman is somebody who manages state affairs. A politician is mostly a derogatory term. It's somebody who does what they do to further their own self-affirmation. But a statesman, as I believe this gentleman is over here, is someone that says, tell me what it is, and I will make a good decision, but I'm going to make it because you've given me feedback, and he belongs only to you. And that's what you need to look at. And be careful about anybody that sells you anything else otherwise. Because your life belongs to you and your family. And that's all you owe your allegiance first is to your family. Okay? Because without family, we have no nation, right? We have no community. You have to have something first to get to where you want to go. And with that, with veterans and what Jimmy does, I cannot say enough about the leaders in the community. We don't have enough what's in here. So, for that, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you that it is an honor and a privilege to ask you to participate in our campaign. I think, as Jimmy has said very well and others, that the nomination of President Romney and Paul Ryan is a breath of fresh air. And by the way, Paul Ryan will represent the first time that a vice president has had the economic background to be on the Security Council, to where we can guide some of these major players who consume a lot of our cash as taxpayers. And we are in a world of trick right now. And we need to maintain the strength and the sovereignty of our Asian families. The United States will be there to make sure that you don't get intimidated. And the idea that Without stability in the world, we have no stability at home, because it's fleeting and it's temporary. And if you call this home as I do, I stand with you, okay, and I sincerely mean that. If anybody knows me, they know when I say something, it's exactly what I mean. I stand with you as an American, with my eyes closed and my ears open to listen to you, and tell you together we can do this, and we can make our community in Georgia and in the United States better, because you can reach out to the rest of the world. And Jimmy, if I may right now, if I just may do that little number, because I don't want to come back on and do this. I got a little gift for somebody in here. I just thought, what can I give you? I came back from the convention, a lot of limited baggage, but I came back with a little item, and I'd like everybody in here to pick a number. Because I got a number on the back of this, so we'll give to you from the convention. I'm going to give you something that is a limited edition, 2012 Republican Party icon. Simple. And later on down the line, it'll be something to be very cherished. And a woman and a man, yes, you can both use this item. I would ask everybody in here to pick a number, keep it upstairs, pick a number from 1 to 50. We got, Jimmy? You don't need that. No? No? We got integrity in here. Pick a number from 1 to 50, okay? All right, and I'm going to call out a number. And if that number, I got a series of numbers on here. Okay? You agree, Jimmy? Okay? That means you can't get it, Jimmy. Okay? 1 to 50. If you hit that first number, you win. Pretty simple? You get that. Okay? All right, 1 to 50.
49.
47.
38.
Well, I'll call the numbers out. I got the numbers written. I got the numbers written. This way, you can see what I got it on here. It keeps it as pure as possible. Number 30. 35. 14. 27. 50. 35. Did you say 35? 35? If that's your number, yeah. Is it 35? Ladies and gentlemen, number 35. You, pretty simple how we did that, right? And I just wanted to share your cap, women. On the back, it's got the elephant symbol. This is a limited edition red Republican Party cap. It's got Tampa Bay, where we were convention. And on the back, it has 2012 Republican National Convention on the back. Limited edition. And ma'am, this is a little token of where Jimmy and I and the other delegates, Mike and Joe Dindy, were.
Yeah, we're here to support.
Well, and this is your hat.